My dad and I always had kind of a weird relationship. So growing up, I was a very small kid, and he was a very manly man. And one Christmas, he was drunk in a bar. My mom went and picked him up, and he bought me a shotgun from Walmart that night. Who needs gun control? And he brought it home, and my dad was terribly abusive. That's not funny. At the time. It's funny now. The next day, we went out to shoot guns, right? He's going to teach me how to shoot this gun. We're skeet shooting, which in today's language means something completely different. It was not sexual abuse. We were, right, clay pigeons. Everybody tracking, we know what we're talking about. And we didn't have the machine. We had the I don't know, the thrower. I don't know what you call it. And it was this tiny bean pole-armed kid, and he's standing in front of me, and I'm sitting on the back of the truck, and he says, "All right, pull." Right? And it's still there. And he looked back. He said, "I said pull." It went nowhere. He looks back and he said, "I'm not going to tell you again. Pull!" And I did. And that thing went flying right into his back. 6 feet in front of me. He fell to his knees and dropped his gun. And we didn't talk about it. And years later, he was telling that story to one of his friends, and he said, "You know, I could have sworn that Casey shot me." I couldn't believe my dad would say something that was so...
Right on.
Right on. It would have saved me so much trouble. It would have fixed most of my problems. So I walk around town now, and people look at me and they "Hey, I'm sorry to hear about your dad." I'm like, "Well, it was 9 years ago. We're okay." "Oh, I'm so sorry to hear about you." And I appreciate the sentiment, but this is the best our relationship's ever been. It's incredible. He hasn't hit me in 10 years. So, his funeral. This is an interesting story for me. So we got the call in the middle of the night. He had died of a heart attack. We flew home. And I'm walking through the church, and there's these flags, and I don't understand what they are, hanging from the ceiling. And I looked at the preacher. I said, "Hey, what's up with the flags?" He said, "Oh, we're set up for Vacation Bible School." Now, my dad was a very pomp and circumstance person, took religion very seriously, other than the being faithful and don't hit your kids, and don't drink, and don't smoke. And it was really just kind of a cover, I think, more than anything. But we were walking through, and I thought to myself, like, God, he'd be furious. And we get into the church, and we walk, and his mom, my grandma, was right in front of me. She had him at 16, and so I'm with her. I'm Italian. I'm the man of the family. So I'm sitting with her, and I'm looking around. There's a 10-foot cardboard throne behind my dad's, behind his coffin, with a giant crown. And I'm looking at it, fuming, and people are on stage talking about my dad. And I look over in the corner, and there's a 6-foot-tall guard dog named Truman, Bulldog. And I think to myself, if your bulldogs are 6 foot tall, how big are your Marmadukes? Is this where Clifford the Big Red Dog is from? How big is the person that wears this crown? And that's what I'm thinking of while I'm trying to grieve my father. I say that to say that the First Christian Church in Cleveland and I have some unsettled business.